Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Kristin Hildabrand, Warren County Extension Agent for Horticulture. Good morning, Kristin.
Good morning, Joanna.
Now, Kristin, we have something that's very trendy right now, but I think a lot of people are still unfamiliar with microgreens.
Yeah, microgreens may be a new term for a lot of folks, and we thought we would kind of explore this crop a little bit more because it's something that you can find readily available. I should say it is kind of trendy, so you might not find it everywhere, but there's places that you can find it, and one nice place is to check out your local farmer's market because there are some growers that grow it in your area. And what's really interesting about this particular crop is that it grows year round, even indoors. And so it's really neat to get to see these microgreens in action. And we've got a couple of different ones that we can actually showcase today. This is some microgreens that we purchased from Smith's Farm. And you can, like I said, there's probably some other ones that are closest to you. So just check with your farmer's market or even check with your local extension office because they may know of another grower that's close by to you. But, microgreens in itself are a little bit bigger than sprouts and they're not quite as mature as regular greens. So you can find a combination of different microgreens depending on what your grower prefers. So a lot of times people will look at different vegetables like kale, kohlrabi, broccoli. They could look at herbs, different basil, cilantros, mixes like that. I've even seen some growers have sunflowers, microgreens. So, what's unique about microgreens is that they have a lot of different colors. Beets, carrots, arugula, things like that. They may have different colors that they lend to your palette at home on plates. And then other times the flavor content can even be a lot more intense than what you find in the mature leaf lettuce itself. So it's really, really fun. And one of the other great things about microgreens is that it actually packs a lot into just a little bite.
So nutrition wise.
Yes, nutrition wise, it's like 40 times more nutritious than the mature form.
And they're so small.
Yes.
And they're cute,
right?
right?
They are.
And so if you're a parent and maybe you're having trouble getting your kids to eat their greens, this is a really nutrient dense way.
Yes.
To sneak that in.
Yes.
But in a fun way.
Yeah. And if you wanted to, you can involve your kids in the process. Maybe you want to try growing this yourself. You certainly can do that too. And it's a really interesting process. There's just a couple of things that you need to have on hand if you were to grow it yourself indoors. And so sometimes if you're a new beginner to growing microgreens yourself, you kind of want to look towards things that maybe say like beginner mixes, or maybe they're baby mixes of some kind. But basically all you need is a good starting seed mix, and it's a little bit lighter than what the potting soil mixtures are. And again, you'll have to have the seed, but you sow this pretty dense. You can see it's almost like a real dense carpet for us. And so you're not having to spread it out as much because you want it pretty tightly packed. And then, like I said, as far as germination, what you're looking for, you can have something in like 5 to 7 days, depending on your growing conditions. Sometimes if you want to leave it on there a little bit longer, you can have it anywhere from 7 to 14 days. So you can have something really quick. It doesn't require a lot of care. A lot of times on the watering, because, it doesn't really need to have a whole lot because you still got some of the cotyledons, and then too the first true set to leave, you don't necessarily have to have as much fertilizers and things like that. So a lot of times people will water it actually at the bottom of the container, so that way that they're not promoting any kind of dampening off type disease.
Now, Kristin, this kind of looks like a thin layer of like soilless media here, or something that they're growing this on. Do you have to have a special container to grow this in?
Yeah, most of the time it's pretty shallow. You just want to make sure whatever container that you're using. There's some commercial trays available for those that are growing it commercially that you can purchase, or if you're a DIY gardener, you can use a pie plate. Again, you just want to make sure you have good drainage holes to it. And like I said, when you're watering, sometimes they'll take even a bigger container to situate that in and have water in it, and then they'll just sit it down in there and it's soaked up that way. Light is another thing that you would want to look at, keeping the humidity content. A lot of times people will use a dome type structure, kind of maybe do a little bit of misting just to get it germinated, and then they'll actually have a grow light right above it to help it, sprout even further.
Absolutely. So if people are interested, what they might do is go to their farmer's market. These came from Soki Marketplace, but I'm sure other farmers markets have microgreen growers. Purchase, see which ones you like,
yes.
because they do have different flavor profiles.
Yes.
And so find the one that you like, and then I know you've got a bunch of ideas about how to use those, and so we'll be sharing those